Hey everyone, we are in High Isle. It's a lovely day. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Ember as a companion. We've got an epic item. We stole a piece of gear in the last session, then I upgraded it to epic. I need to be able to fence that with Ember in the party, and then she will give me her perk, which is essentially being able to find more items to pickpocket of higher value. So that means all of my characters will have that. I don't do pickpocketing a ton, but I have this opportunity, so we're going to go ahead and take it. Ember was one of the first companions introduced. Let's see, we've got... And she was definitely the first companion I ran around with. So with allies... Azandar, Bastion, Miri, Sharp as Night. Zarethvar and Tanloran came a bit later, so I believe Ember and Isabel, Bastion, and Miri were the first few. Sharp and Azandar came out later with their expansions, and Tanloran and Zarethvar are, I believe, you need to have their crown account to use.
Rumor is the soldiers of the Redoubt are going to move on to Cathbedro. May the Eight protect them.
Steer clear of Tor Draok, stranger. Those strange moats are everywhere. I saw one of them turn a cow into a person. I'm getting out of here before one of them gets me. I'm not spending the rest of my days as a farm animal.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I was just trying to cut through the area around the old wizard's tower there when I spotted those strange moats. It was chaos. Unnatural things started happening, and then one of the moats started chasing me.
Do things like that happen at Tordrak often?
No, not that I've ever seen. And I take that shortcut almost every day. The Magister who lives there and his Khajiit assistant, Ember, are nice enough. I hope they're all right. But I'm not crazy enough to go back. You look brave. Maybe you could?
I'll go see what's going on at Tordrak. So, yeah, getting Ember is pretty easy, same as getting Bastion and getting Miri as the first ones. The rest of them become, much longer. This is probably 15-20 minutes. And the other ones can go like an hour. I really like her. She's a Khajiit. Sort of a sneaky Khajiit with a fun sense of humor.
And down they go.
Her voice actress does a lot of Khajiit.
You know what that's good for? Ah, you'll figure it out.
There she is.
Get back here, you stupid thing!
I hope you don't mind me saying so, but you look like someone who's good at cleaning up messes. I've got a big one for you, if you're up for it. I'd pay you for your time, but I need someone quick on their feet. This mess is turning into a crisis.
What's going on?
I was experimenting with a spell while my mentor, Magister Iran, was away, but the magic went awry. If it doesn't get dealt with, it's going to spread beyond this area and harm a bunch of innocent people. I can't fix it on my own, so I need help.
How can I help?
I need to develop a counterspell, but first the protective wards around the area need to be restored by someone other than myself, so I don't taint the magic. That's where you come in. Like I said, if you help, I can pay.
I'll help you reset the wards.
Hold still. You'll need this unless you want to spend the next few hours as a sheep. Not as glamorous as it sounds. And here, take these crystals. You'll need them to restore the wards. The first one is in the meadow just up the hill to the north.
What do these wards normally do?
Mostly they serve to keep errant magic inside Tordriak's boundaries. You know, the standard 3 points of protection thing. Unfortunately, my spell kicked those wards in the teeth. They're not protecting anything now.
Why can't you restore the wards yourself?
The spell I created has my magical mark on it, if that makes sense. There are certain types of magic that can be affected by their creator, intentionally or not. Messing with forces already attuned to you can have unpredictable results.
So if you tried restoring the wards, it might make things worse?
Exactly. Magic is powerful and great and all that, but it can be pretty sensitive. Fussy, Magister Irin likes to say. And since my spell is already wreaking havoc across Tordreak, I'd rather not take any unnecessary risks while fixing it.
Who are you?
The name's Ember. Well, technically it's a nickname, but it's all I use. I'm Magister Irin's apprentice. I think he regrets taking me on sometimes, but he's got a big heart. He saw that I had no formal training and told me to come here to learn.
Where's here exactly?
This is Tordreak. There's a big wizard's tower. You can't miss it. I've been living there with Magister Irin, plus a few people who keep up the grounds and the tower itself. All of whom have been affected by my spell, I'd guess.
That's it? Get him!
Here we are. I'm going to cast a little purifying spell. That's 1 ward restored. Let's go fix the next one. It's in the glade just west of here.
You could craft something nice with that. You want a tie? Fine.
Here we are. I'll make sure nothing gets in our way while you place the warding crystal. Oh, you're a natural. Maybe you should have been Magister Irin's apprentice. The last ward is south of here, inside a cave. This is the last one. Let's get this over with quick. Place the warding crystal. That's all the wards. Let's talk outside. I need to figure out what to do next. Ugh, stupid moats. I know my rogue spell is to blame for most of the weirdness happening around Tordreok, but it almost seems like these damned moats are becoming dangerous. They're doing more than just mischievous magic. Ugh, fish biscuits. I need to figure this out.
Why would they turn dangerous?
I'm not sure. The moats aren't new. They're always hanging around Tordreok. I think they're drawn to places like this. but there was nothing in my spell that should have made them act malevolent, and there are a lot more around than usual.
Should we do something about them?
Yes, I can make traps to contain them, but I'm still worried about their behavior. While I work on the traps, could you head into the tower and look to Magister Iren's things? He might have a book with more information about the modes. See if you can find anything in the tower about the modes. I'll meet you there and start on the traps.
This is ridiculous. I knew Magister Iren should never have taken in a mangy cat like you.
Relax, Huldressa. I'm working on it.
You better work fast, because when Magister Iren... What the... Oh!
All right. That was a little funny.
Building up a stash. Good thinking.
Magister Iren's notes. I told Maurice that I would look at some of the more scholarly students' writings on enchanting wood for shipbuilding. This area of study could be quite fruitful, given the archipelago's seafaring culture. However, I think her insistence on pushing her students into this field, and her repeated queries to me about arcane treatments for wood, has a deeper purpose. I don't believe her interest stems from the fact that we are an island society with a long history of shipbuilding, or that making better vessels should always be a priority. More likely, she has some branch of House Dufour pushing for this. Maurice, though a talented mage, is too tied to politics and has ambitions of her own. Discovering the secret to building better ships would be an immensely profitable and powerful enterprise. That she thinks I will just hand over any information in support of this like some doddering old hermit, muttering away in his tower, shows a remarkable lack of understanding of her part. See lore for arcane crafting by Rinsara Olimer. Chapter on the Shores and Sands. As has been discussed in prior chapters, the constant movement of the seas of Nirn, their interconnectedness, and their inviolate solitary depths and mysteries can provide many different opportunities for the crafty arcanist. These mysteries can be used to craft spellwork, cast enchantments, and of course create serious alchemical concoctions. As always, understand that serious alchemy is the craft studied by those steeped in magecraft, trained in the ways of different schools of magic. This is not your local wise woman's tonic for easing the pains of childbirth, or some hedge wizard's cure for warts. Serious alchemy is an arcane discipline of the highest order. But I digress. The tidal pools and sands of different regions provide a bounty of alchemical reagents. This area of study is in its infancy and continuing to grow, although some cultures appear further along than others. The Slode, for example, are said to derive their magic from the sea. What detritus of their arcana lie on the sandy shores of the Sisters Archipelago, and what may have drifted to wash up on the Gold Coast? A smoothly worn and sea-polished stone of some strange blue color that washes up on the high isle shore will have different properties from a similar piece that's tumbled through the oceans for hundreds of years before landing on Anvil's coast. One must test and thoroughly examine any items found to understand what, if any, arcane properties they possess and how they might be utilized in spells or alchemical preparations. In this chapter, I discuss some of the items you should seek out along the shores of our world, if your magic is inclined toward using sea-borne components. Stones, for example, can be found on most shores. Locating those that the sea has smoothly rounded over time and are small enough to fit the palm of your hand, or to set upon a staff or circlet, are greatly prized. Maumers, who the common folk call sea elves, seek the sea stones to use in their sea-related rituals. One Maormer, who deigned to speak to me, after a few drinks in a tavern I shall not name, said that the hues of blues and purples are highly valued among his people, but they are rare in the extreme. I have no way of verifying the truth of this statement, but he wore an earring decorated with a very small pale blue stone that glowed with an inner light. He would not let me examine it, and again I digress. But he was correct. The colors of a sea stone are important. A smooth yellow cast stone is lovely, but does not have much arcane value. Blue and purple sea stones have a high degree of arcane resonance, whereas red and green stones fall somewhere in between. Sorrows of the Wind by Bastien Marot, historian. There are several stories about the source of power in Tordrelock. Some feature the usual culprits, such as an evil witch or a vengeful chieftain who turned to dark magic to slay his enemies. The histories vary, but one thing remains certain. Whatever occurred at this tower in the distant past has left a mark. The most prevalent legend is called Sorrows of the Wind. A fanciful tale, to be sure, but one wonders if a grain of truth rests at its core. Locals say the motes that blink in and out of the sight sometimes are the remnants of a mournful, terrible spirit named Wind Sorrow. The story goes that the isles were once home to creatures of nature, elven or human in appearance. The existence of such creatures has never been confirmed, and may be bardic fancy in service of a good story. Certainly the earliest inhabitants of these isles were powerful magic wielders who shaped the land and sea. Over time the archipelago was discovered and settled by men and mer, and if any of these ancient inhabitants remained, they stayed mostly hidden. A female ancient, lovely and fair, was said to be so attuned to the breeze that moved over the island that her clothes and hair constantly moved, as if stirred by the wind. She fell in love with an ancient chieftain who settled nearby and left the hidden places of the archipelago to live with him. The tales say she bore him 2 children, both bright and beautiful. After many years, she learned of her mother's passing. Thus she left their home and children to return to her own people. When she returned from her travels, she found that her husband had abandoned her for another. This other woman was dark of heart and jealous. She clouded the mind of the great chieftain with magic. Worse, and more tragically, she poisoned the 2 children so that her own issue would inherit all. The spurned wife might have weathered the betrayal of a spouse, but her grief, the loss of her children, unbound the winds, so the legend goes. Wild with pain and sorrow, she razed everything in her path for days. A group of brave souls, druids, chieftains, warriors, and witches, fought to rein her in and stop the violent winds so the isle could heal. The lovely dell where Tordreac now stands was the site of this ferocious battle against the creature they named Wind Sorrow. Her grave rests somewhere near the tower, or so the legend says. According to this version of the story, the motes that flit about the tower are manifestations of her spirit, as well as her children's, who are buried alongside her. Other stories say that she was never conquered, only subdued, and that she may return one day to tear High Isle apart, rock by rock.
You in here? Did you find anything useful about the moats? I finished the traps. Once we set them up, they should take care of the moats. Then I can sort out the livestock in Huldressa, and at some point create a counterspell to fix everything for good. Did you learn anything useful?
I found a book that mentions a wind spirit associated with the moats in this area.
Oh, I read that one, with the Wind Sorrow lady, right? Oh, what if my spell disturbed her and that's why the moats are acting up? That's troubling, and also a problem for future Ember. Let's focus on one thing at a time. Or 2 things, actually.
Which are?
The traps are finished, but the livestock and Hildressa are still a problem. I want to figure out a way to return them all to their natural forms before the illusion does any damage. Could you set the traps while I do that?
Where should I set them?
Here, I'll mark some places to set the traps. They're in a pack by the work tables outside. While you do that, I'll figure out how to fix the livestock and Hildressa. Then I can work on my counterspell. Meet me by the livestock pens when you're done. Good luck setting up the traps. I'll meet you by the livestock pens when you're finished.
Something I hadn't noticed before. Look at the little cat footprints around that. That's adorable.
A whole stack? Very nice. Better overstocked than under.
All right, let's get you two back to your regular chicken selves. Ha! I knew it would work. Run along, ladies. You're back. The traps worked, didn't they? See? I told you I know what I'm doing. Mostly. Speaking of which, I think I figured out a way to return the livestock to their original forms.
How?
I made something. I know it looks like a spoon, but, well, technically it is a spoon, but I enchanted it. And I call it the Spoon of Undo. I just tested it on those chickens. It removes the illusions perfectly.
Why is it so important to remove the illusions from the livestock?
Normally I wouldn't bother, but illusions can be disorienting and cause terrible headaches. I don't want any of the animals suffering while I come up with my counterspell. Oh, and Hildressa. I suppose I don't really want her suffering either.
What can I do to help?
Here, take the Spoon of Undo. If you could run around and fix the livestock and Hildressa, that will give me a chance to finally whip up this counterspell. By the time you're finished, I'm sure I'll have something figured out. Just look around for people making animal noises. I'm sure they won't be hard to find. And tell them I'm sorry when you change them back, would you? As for Hildressa, I'm all in favor of leaving her as a guar. Just kidding. Kind of.
How does the Spoon of Undo work?
It sounds cute when you say it. It's a pretty simple reversing enchantment. It should counteract the magic from the motes and dispel the illusion. Basic stuff. Not even I can mess up.
Do you think the animals will let me use the Spoon of Undo on them?
Well, they're still animals. They might run around a bit, but I doubt they'll make it too difficult for you. They're not exactly geniuses. Personally, if I was a sheep and got turned into a human, I think I'd go off on an adventure.
Can I ask you what you were trying to do with your experimental spell in the first place?
I wasn't trying to turn animals into people, I swear. I had a theory about animating the inanimate. One of Magister Irin's texts gave me the idea. That's probably why he locks so many of his books away, now that I think about it.
What will Magister Irin do if he returns before we fix everything?
Well, I'm hoping to avoid that scenario. But if it does happen, I'm not sure. He's an odd one. I'm too old for him to punish, and he's not really the type to dole out discipline anyway. I think he'd be disappointed, which is so much worse. I'll be in the tower working on the counterspell. Come find me when you're done.
You could brew something nice with that.
Skill issue.
Was I just a guar? This is all Ember's fault.
Fish biscuits. That wasn't right.
Looks like there's a book over here. Maybe. I don't see it though. Okay, it might just be, well, underground. It's part of the tower.
Useful. Hold on to that.
I assume he'll dress us back to her charming self. I've run into a problem. I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I've nearly finished my counterspell, but I need to find a tome called The Mirrored Way to complete it. I know Magister Irin has it, but it's not with the rest of his books. That's the bad news.
Why is that the bad news?
Because if the Mirrored Way isn't with the rest of his things, it's probably locked away in his arcane library. The library he specifically forbids me from entering. The tome I need has to be in there. Without it, I can't make the counterspell.
What should we do?
Magister Irin has warned me not to enter his library 1,000 times. But these are special circumstances. There will probably be some magical traps inside meant to keep me out. So I'll need your help getting the book while I deal with them. Once we find the Mirrored Way in Magister Irin's library, I can finish my counterspell. I just hope the old man wasn't serious about putting something dangerous inside to keep me out. He was definitely kidding. Had to be. Come on, let's go.
What kind of magical traps do you think we'll run into?
Not sure. I picked the lock on the place as soon as I figured out he didn't want me getting in there. He's since put up protections and told me to stay out unless I have his permission. I'm sure he's got some kind of ward or barrier set up.
You were able to enter his arcane library just by picking the lock?
It wasn't hard. Mages like Magister Irin tend to think in very magical ways. They'll put magic reinforcements over every inch of a place. But forget, a few pins and a good ear can foil them. And to be fair to him, I'm a very good lockpick.
How did you get so good at lockpicking?
Necessity. I wasn't exactly raised in the lap of luxury. Not even in the lap of genteel poverty, for that matter. You get good at things like that if you don't want to be hungry. Or caught by guards or angry merchants. Follow me. The library's downstairs. Give me just a moment to pick the lock. All right, let's get in and out as quick as we can. I don't sense anything. Maybe the old man was bluffing. Fish biscuits!
Got your back.
This spell is specifically targeting me. I'll figure out a way down. You just focus on getting the book.
The Mirrored Way. Herein the many twisting ways of ancient spellworks are contained. Beware ye who gaze upon this tome and behold its wondrously confusing spells. Spells of the Mirrored Way weave a twisting path, and have led many an overzealous acolyte to damage, despair, and even death. Beware. To read further, you must know the secret incantation of the Mirrored Way.
That's it! You got it! Now let's get out of here before I set off something else.
I want to see if there's another book down here. Yep. Ami Viridil Arcanium. Written in a strange and secret code, this text cannot be read without the proper implements and the use of a special spell. Curiosities of Mania. I will not sign my name to this treatise. No, but I am compelled to write down the wonders I've seen and felt in my time in the Shivering Isles. Mania that overtook me was an open maw I both feared and was drawn to. A whirl of madness from which creativity, sleeplessness, fury, and joy burst forth. I explored for a period of time that I cannot remember. A year? A month? I do not know for certain. Wherein I dove into the secrets of a spell while my understanding was enhanced and expanded with greenmote. I walked away from this experience with the key to unlocking the mysteries of the rare crystals sometimes found among Iliad ruins. You may laugh with disbelief when I tell you that I delved into the heart of an amethyst crystal created by some ancient Iliad, perhaps, which had been faceted and formed by the winds of Mania. Let me explain, and you shall see the truth of it. Clear and brilliant, all-consuming truth.
Magister Irin really didn't want me getting in there, huh? I have to admire the dedication. I didn't know the old man had it in him. He had something to target me specifically. What a sneaky old goat. Good thing I had you with me. You managed to get the book, right? Let me see it.
Here, take it.
Let me take a look. No, not that. That would be bad. What about this? Oh, here it is. It's Amahan ist Exis, not Gahan Amexis ist. Good thing I checked. See? That's personal growth right there.
What does that even mean?
2 different arcane glyphs. They do entirely different things when written and pronounced aloud. The second one is what I need for my counterspell. Now all that's left is to get to the old ritual circle and cast this. I'll need your help again.
Ready when you are.
The counterspell should set everything right in Tordrayak. Things will be just as Magister Irin left them, and I won't have to face his furrowed brow. I'll need your help at the ritual site. Casting a spell this big is a 2-person job.
Why can't you cast your counterspell here?
The old ritual circle is a place of power, and I'm going to need all the help I can get. I plan to draw on the magic there to help strengthen my counterspell. Magister Aaron told me about it. This probably isn't how he wanted to implement the lesson.
Do you think that Windsorrow Spirit is actually here?
Maybe. Old tales and myths always start from some truth at some point in time. The moats around here seem to be affected by more than my spell, is all I'm saying. I always expect the worst. I find it helpful.
So what do you think we might find at the ritual site?
If luck is with us, maybe just some irritated wildlife we can deal with as we've done before. Or some of the bolder moats. But if there is some truth to the ancient tales, then maybe we find some sort of really cranky wind spirit. The ritual circle is just up the hill. I'll meet you there.
Cool sky. Rainy.
Yeah!
I'm here. First, we need to set the ritual flames. There's 3 around the site. I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
First, we need to set the ritual flames. There's 3 around the site. Light the 3 ritual flames here. I'll get the ones on the altar. Almost there. It's done! The spell is set. Follow me. We should be able to see it materialize. Any second now! It worked! We did it! Come on, let's get back to the tower.
I refuse to work under these conditions. I was turned into a guar. A guar!
Of course, Huldressa. I promise to address the situation.
See that you do.
Huldressa sold me out, didn't she?
Let me speak to your associate first, Ember.
Look here, A Hunter's Journey 6. Fawns. By Viola Fulcinis, professional hunter. I've loosed arrows in every forest from Solitude to Lilma. I've carved the hide of a mother Wanasu and pried the tusks from a gray bull mammoth. I've gutted, skinned, and stuffed my way all across Tamriel. But until recently, there was one thing I hadn't done. I'd never hunted a fawn. I'd heard tales, sure. Stories about some primitive deer people scampering around on an island in the Eltheric. Now, most times I hear a tale like that and just laugh in my ale. But then I did a bit of research and found truth in these frontier tales. Naturally, I snatched up my knife and longbow, secured passage on a ship, and sailed westward. Some folk might read this and call hunting fawns murder. These fawns are people, right? Oh, it's not that simple. Is a goblin a person? Is an ogre a person? They're clever enough to put on a pair of trousers, I'll give you that. But if those beasts are people, then the world we live in is full of murderers. Fact is, goblins are vicious little creatures. Ogres are lumbering brutes, and fawns aren't much better. Don't believe me? Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a water carrier named Tarvor Gomberville tipped his bucket in Loch Abain, not far from Ifre's cauldron. He'd barely filled his bucket when a pair of fawns burst out of the undergrowth, gibbering like wild animals. They tossed a vine rope around Tarvor, tied him up tight, and strung him up on a tree by his ankles. That was just the beginning. Pretty soon they started stuffing his mouth full of garlic cloves, baying their animal laughs. Then they slathered him with honey and whacked a hornet's nest off a nearby tree. Poor Tarver got stung 50 times or more. His family found him the next day, alive, but just barely. Now that's just one tale related to the acts of these supposed people. I know plenty more that end far worse than this. So if you mean to shed any tears on a fallen's account, just remember that poor bastard and his bucket. If you want to snare the people of High Isle, if you want to spare the people of High Isle a similar fate, see you on the hunt.
So, you were witness to the events here, and as I understand it, you had a hand in bringing them to an end. For that, I thank you. And if you'll indulge me, I do have a few lingering questions. What in the world happened?
Ember had a spell go awry.
I don't know what I expected, leaving her to her own devices here, even temporarily. Ember and Trouble are old friends. I can still feel the repercussions of this spell gone awry, as you say. Do I have you to thank for rectifying it?
Ember already had an idea on how to fix it before I got here. I just helped.
I see. As trying as she can be, she truly is a talented mage. She can be impatient. Given her natural inclination to magic, it's understandable. I always knew I was perhaps not the best teacher for her.
What do you mean?
I took her in because I knew I couldn't leave someone as skilled and impulsive as her to her own devices. But I have neither the time nor aptitude to teach her properly. It's my own failing. Speak to her, would you? I must collect my thoughts.
I'll talk to Ember.
Don't worry. Ember isn't in any trouble. While I am not pleased about my traumatized cook, I must concede that everything is back in order and the consequences of Ember's magic weren't dire. Still, I must consider what to do now.
Is Ember a difficult student?
I don't mean to give the impression that Ember is incapable of learning. That's not the case. She's a bright mage, one of the brightest I've ever seen. Everything I've taught her she's taken to like flame to parchment. But therein lies the problem.
How so?
Well, just like a flame, Ember wants to devour everything around her. Her appetite for knowledge is ceaseless. That's good quality in a mage, but not necessarily one I'm equipped to deal with. By my own admission, I'm methodical, cautious, by the books.
And Ember isn't.
Exactly right. Ember needs someone who can keep up with her, someone who thrusts themselves headlong into adventure so that she may temper herself and her magic beside them. Perhaps when I was younger, I could have been that for her, but not now.
Hey, you! Let's talk while Magister Irin collects his thoughts. I thought Magister Irin would be as mad as a wet dragon, but he looks amused. It's probably because he's wanted to turn Huldressa into a guar at some point. He just won't admit it. And the fact that we fixed it all before he got here helped.
You think he'll push you harder at your magic studies now?
Well, I've been thinking. I'm grateful to Magister Irin, but sitting and reading about magic has little appeal to me. This whole thing just proved to me that I'm too restless here. I want to do magic, not just study it. Go on adventures, see things.
Are you saying you want to leave Tordrak?
I think it's time. I've been given good training here, but I still have a lot to learn. For me, the best teachers are curiosity and experience. I learn best by doing, so I need to get out in the world and continue my training.
So what's next for Ember the Sorcerer?
Ember the Sorcerer. I like the sound of that. But that can come later. First, take this. It's not much, but you deserve it. I think we made a good team today. If you ever need a sorcerer who has your back, let me know. We'd have some fun. Magister Irin, I'm grateful for your teachings and your patience. But I think it's time for me to move on.
The world is an excellent teacher for one of your talents, Ember. Do write me occasionally.
I should go pack my things. And say goodbye to Huldressa. Not a chance.
Okay, so that means we can summon Ember.
Look out, everyone. Tamriel's best duo is back.
Alright. I'm going to bring her to Sleep Creek House, to a fence. So she's already level 20. Criminal Mind. By the scholar Mingelian. Several years ago, I paid a visit to the Imperial City Prison. There, I had opportunity to examine the corpses of several prisoners, who by all accounts had been extremely violent and disturbed individuals. While performing a routine autopsy on an infamous Colovian brigand named Vitius, I discovered an unusual indenture at the base of his skull. From this singular observation, I developed a theory with two key points. First, criminal behavior originates in large measure from deformities in the brain. Second, violent criminals may exhibit skull structures of the earlier races of men
Being
and
hungry
mer,
wasn't so bad when you were warm.
known for their violence. These criminals, I believe, can therefore be identified with on the basis of similar physical characteristics, such as a large jaw and a sloping forehead. Based on my copious research and the measurements of such traits, I have created a hierarchy of criminal species among the races, with Nords, Redguards, and Dunmer at the top, Bosmer, Bretons, and Khajiit at the bottom. I must profess a greater appreciation for the common caliber. Sadly, attempts to publish my theories have been met with hostility and derision. I've been openly accused of deriding the races. Decided, therefore, to set my work down on paper in the hopes that future generations might be more willing to examine this entirely new branch of science with opened minds. So that is a callback to an actual, medieval science called physiognomy, where people said they could tell you what someone's personality was like by examining the skull. Okay.
All this sneaking about. Wanted you to have something special from me.
Luxury Thieves Tools. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, Companion Keepsake has been added. We have her Thieves Tools, a set of handmade Thieves Tools set within a leather pouch. One tool is missing, likely snatched by your thieving companion for her own amusement. Permanently grants the passive Ember's intuition to the bearer. So that means if I do pickpocketing, I'll have more chances at different gear. But okay, so we've got 10 Lauren's Garland Ring Humming Pick, Jock Spell of Bounty, and Luxury Thieves Tools. 5 more to go. System alerts. So, it's a letter from Ember. Hey, so, you know I'm bad at this stuff, but just for you, I grabbed a quill and decided I'm writing down my feelings. Ugh. Yuck. Ever since the day of the tower, I've been watching you. Not in a creepy way, I swear. I've just been trying to understand. Why me? I still haven't figured it out. Most people get sick of me by now, but you haven't. And you also happen to be one of just a claw full of people ever to keep things interesting. That's pretty amazing. I tucked in a little gift, a joke, kinda, but when I saw it, it made my eyes go wide and my tail freeze up. And you do too, so here you go. Or whatever. Ember. P.S. Yes, I stole it. No, that doesn't make it any less special. Okay. Very cool. So we'll head back to Rivenspire and pick up the zone story there. Say goodbye to Ember and hope that someday Sharp actually makes it to actually liking us so we can use a different companion. We haven't really progressed much in his story. I do like his story, so I don't want to abandon him. Okay.
Let's get it
The
done.
main story is talk to Verandis at Locrata Hills. Okay, let's talk to Verandis, and then I'm gonna head south and do some of the zone story.
Yeah! Yeah!
Varieties of Daedra, Part 2. Of the varieties of other Daedra I encountered while I served in Devaith Fear's Corpusarium, Ogrims and Golden Saints, Daedroths and Winged Twilights, Scamps and Clanfear, there's much that might be said, but little that's helpful or reliable. I did note, however, that while Devaith Fear sought a Daedra of a character like unto the Dremora, but of greater power and greater inclination for independence and initiative, or solely as a master, he summoned Zivalai, who are like the Dremora in personality and temperament, except that they hate subordination, and are liable to be disloyal and betrayed when they feel they have not been treated with the proper deference and respect. The feral, beast-like Daedra, like the Clanfear and the Daedroth, appear in the service of many different Daedric powers, and may represent common creatures existing like wild animals in the wilderness of oblivion. Other savage, semi-intelligent creatures like Scamps and Spider Daedra may also be found in the realms of various Daedra lords. The case of the elemental Atronachs, on the other hand, is less certain. Flame and Frost Atronachs, for example, appear to be highly intelligent, and not all varieties of elemental Atronachs seem to be social or have the power of speech. Devaith Fear preferred not to summon or deal with these creatures, had little experience with them, and showed no inclination to speculate upon their nature, so I learned little about them during my time at Telfir. Okay, so Devaith Fear is a character in Morrowind, and he's
Good to
alive
get
in this
stocked up.
time. And if we look at, I believe, Vardenfell, the halls of fabrication are where his tower is. So that's a cool tie-in.
There you are. I hope you didn't have any trouble finding this place. Ah, I take it Gwendis found you, and I assume that you dealt with Rizal Jul. Then we are ready to begin. Let's find out why they tried so hard to hide this place from my memories.
What is this place?
A forgotten tumble of ruins in the desolate Locrata Hills. I found a trap door that should grant us access to the chambers beneath, but it's locked tight. Look around for a way to open the trap door, and I'll meet you at the West Tower. I advise caution, my friend. As with Rizal Jul and Camp Tamrith, I have a feeling that the enemy remains at least one step ahead of us. Since I assumed that Montclair's memory was never affected, who knows what we may find in the ruins below. Of course, it isn't as though we're trying to save Rivenspire or anything, now is it? Go ahead, ask your questions.
I understand Montclair and Rizal Jul's role in all this, but what about Loraya?
Loraya was a sweet young woman, committed to her family and infatuated with me. She didn't ask for what happened to her, but that doesn't excuse her behavior since.
What do you mean?
Her father gave her command of a portion of his troops, just as he did with Rizal Jul. She's been active in the north and east, creating blood fiends and causing chaos. I assume she has her eye on North Point. It would make a handsome prize.
What are we looking for here?
When you restored my missing memories, I recalled that the Aeoliad manuscript mentioned 2 ancient outposts, the Doomcrag and a place in the hills to the east. My research indicates an Aeoliad ruin lies beneath this abandoned Breton fortress.
What do you hope to find down there?
I'm not sure, but there must be something here that we need. Why else would the 2 Aeoliad outposts be linked as they are in the manuscript? First, however, we need a way to open the path down. Without that, this ruin is nothing but a dead end.
Okay. Trying to decide whether or not I actually do this first. I think I'm gonna let this wait a little bit
Ready.
and go work our way up from the south. Okay, let's head south and do what we can to help people down here.
I know you. Daggerfall, that mad plan to take on Molag Bal. Crazy. Let me ask you though, if someone committed a heinous crime, slaughtering innocent people and such, could they ever be forgiven? Or should they suffer for the rest of their lives?
Why are you asking me this?
Because that's the scenario here. I've tracked down a man named Gerard Althen. Althen ordered the massacre of hundreds of innocent people during Rancer's War and then vanished. After 10 years, I finally found him. I just need help bringing him in.
What kind of help do you need?
I need someone to fight their way into the barrows and find his hiding place. It shouldn't be too hard. One of Althen's old cronies came to help him escape. Trolls got to him, but he must have been carrying a clue to Althen's hiding place.
Alright, I'll go see what I can find.
You're smart. Working for the Ring of Daggers has 2 great benefits. First, we reward our friends generously. Second, we don't worry about trials and laws and silly things like that. Get Althen to Hoarfrost Downs, and he will pay for what he did.
Can I ask you about something?
You certainly can. I may or may not be obliged to answer, but you can certainly ask.
What exactly were Althen's crimes?
Althen was King Rancer's spymaster and head of security. During the war, when High King Emeric struck an alliance with the Orcs, Rancer went mad. He had Althen round up hundreds of innocent Orc civilians and put them to the sword.
So he was acting on King Rancer's orders?
Of course, but that makes him no less guilty. The dog that bites cannot blame his master for letting him off the chain. Althen willfully organized the slaughter of innocent people, and he will pay for that crime, no matter how long it takes.
How will he be punished?
If you must know, he will die, and most likely it will be a slow and painful death. The contract is with High King Emeric. He hired us to track Althen down. We can bring him in dead or alive. It's our choice.
Why would you choose to kill him?
In addition to his crimes, Althen made the mistake of crossing the Ring of Daggers. He tortured and killed the lover of our leader, Copper Diarrhea. All that remained of that man was an eye. I suspect Copper will begin with one of Althen's eyes.
Can you tell me more about the Ring of Daggers?
We work on a contractual basis. Guards, soldiers, scouts, couriers, whatever the client needs, we provide. We swear allegiance to no one, but work for a variety of interests within the Daggerfall Covenant. Often, even for the High King himself.
So you're mercenaries?
No, it's not that simple. You can't hire the Ring of Daggers to fight in some silly war or a military campaign. We take contracts for specific tasks, which require a few agents, and we maintain our own chain of command. I'll be having a drink at the Dusklight Inn in Hoarfrost Downs. I'll wait for you there.
Invocation of Azura. by Sigala Parate. For 300 years I've been a priestess of Azura, the Daedric Prince of Moonshadow, Mother of the Rose, and Queen of the Night Sky. Every Hoggathum, while we celebrate on the 21st of her seed, we summon her for guidance, as well as to offer things of worth and beauty to Her Majesty. She is a cruel, wise mistress. We do not invoke her on any Hoggathum troubled by thunderstorms, for those nights belong to the Mad One, Sheogorath, even if they do coincide with the occasion. Azura, at such times, understands our caution. Azura's invocation is a very personal one. I have been priestess to 3 other Daedric princes, but Azura values the quality of her worshippers and the truth behind our adoration of her. When I was a dark elven maid of 16, I joined my grandmother's coven, worshippers of Molag Bal, the schemer princess. Blackmail, extortion, and bribery are as much the weapons of the witches of Molag Bal as is dark magic. The invocation of Molag Bal is held on the 20th of Evening Star, except during stormy weather. The ceremony is seldom missed, but Molag Bal often appears to her cultists in mortal guise on other dates. When my grandmother died in an attempt to poison the air of Firewatch, I re-examined my faith in the cult. My brother was a warlock of the cult of Boethia, and from what he told me, the Dark Warrior was closer to my spirit than the treacherous Molag Bal. Boethia is a warrior princess who acts more overtly than any other Daedroth. After years of skulking and scheming, it felt good to perform acts for a mistress who had direct, immediate consequences. Besides, I liked it that Boethia was a Daedra of the Dark Elves. Our cult would summon her on the day we called the Gauntlet, the second of Sun's Dusk. Bloody competitions would be held in her honor, and the duels and battles would continue until 9 cultists were killed at the hands of the other cultists. Boethia cared little for her cultists. She only cared for our blood. I do think I saw her smile when I accidentally slew my brother in a sparring session. My horror, I think, greatly pleased her. I left the cult soon after that. Boethia was too impersonal for me, too cold. I wanted a mistress of greater depth. For the next 18 years of my life, I worshipped no one. Instead, I read and researched. In an old and profane tome, I came upon the name of Nocturnal. Nocturnal, the night mistress. Nocturnal, the unfathomable. As the book prescribed, I called on her holy day, the 3rd of Hearthfire. At last, I had found the personal mistress I had so long desired. I strove to understand her labyrinthine philosophy, the source of her mysterious pain. Everything about her was dark and shrouded, even the way she spoke, and the acts she required of me. It took years for me to understand the simple fact that I could never understand Nocturnal. Her mystery was as essential to her as savagery was to Boethia, or treachery was to Molag Bal. To understand Nocturnal is to negate her, to pull back the curtains cloaking her realm of darkness. As much as I loved her, I recognized the futility of unraveling her enigmas. I turned instead to her sister, Azura. Azura is the only Daedric princess I have ever worshipped who seems to care about her followers. Molag Bal wanted my mind, Boethia wanted my arms, and Nocturnal, perhaps, my curiosity. Azura wants all of that, and our love above all. Not our abject slavering, but our honest and genuine caring in all its forms. It is important to her that our emotions be engaged in her worship, and our love must also be directed inward. If we love her and hate ourselves, she feels our pain. I will for all time have no other mistress.
Let's end them.
Who are we ending? Oh, Spider.
Stay ready. Never know what else might be headed our way. Good eye. Better luck next time. Oh, wait. No surprises there.
Varieties of Daedra, Part 1. By Aranea Drethan, healer and dissident priest. There is little chance of your ever understanding the various orders of Daedra and their relationships to the Daedra lords and their dominions, of the varieties of Daedra that appear in our world, and the varieties of their relationship to their fellows and their Daedric patrons. There is no end. In one place in time there is seen to be this, and in another place in time there is seen to be the opposite, and in another place in time there is seen to be both this and that, in completely contradictory terms. What Daedra serve this prince? What Daedra give orders, and what Daedra serves, and in which hierarchy, and under what circumstances? What Daedra exist in fellowship with one another, and what Daedra have eternal enmity to one another, and what Daedra are solitary or social, and by turns solitary or social. There are no limits to the variety of behaviors that may be observed, and to one place they may be this, and in another place they may be that, and all rules describing them are always found to be contradictory, and in exception to others. Further, from whom may we seek answers to our questions about these orders? From mortals, who know little but what they may observe of another world. From the gods, who speak in riddles, of enigmas wrapped in mysteries, and who keep things from us, the better to preserve their dominion over us. From the Daedra themselves, who are never the models of straightforwardness or truth-telling, rather are famous for misstatements and obfuscation. And what were the Daedra to speak the truth? How can we know if they know themselves, or that there's any truth about them that is to be known, or are all arrangements among the Daedra protean and ever subject to change? In short, what is to be known is little, and what is to be trusted is nothing. These things being said, I shall venture to relate what I have observed and heard of the relationship of the servants of Lord Dagon in my brief service to the Telvanni wizard. Divaith Fear, when I sought him out and offered to bring peace to the victims of Corpus in his sanitarium. Divaith Fear told me that he, by choice, trafficked only with two Daedric powers, Mehrunes Dagon and Azura. Azura, he said, knew and understood all things, and declined to speak of these things, or only spoke in riddles. Mehrunes Dagon, on the other hand, out of pride, fixity of purpose, and a predictable lack of subtlety of thought, knew nothing and understood nothing, and was inclined to speak freely, and without falsehood. Divaith Fear said that Dagon's chief servants, the Dremora, were like him in pride, fixed purpose, and lack of subtlety, with the addition of the particular traits of honor and loyalty, both within their class and within their relationship to Lord Dagon. And Divaith Fear said that the Dremora were ordered into clans and castes, and these clans and castes were well defined. Individual Dremora might rise or fall in ranks, or move back and forth among clans, but only when regulated by complex oaths, and only at the will and pleasure of their Lord Dagon. The Dremora refer to themselves as the kin, the people, contrasting themselves to other Daedra, who they consider unthinking animals. The term Kinas refers to a member of the Dremora race, he of the kin. The least of the kin castes are the churls, the undistinguished rabble of the lowest ranks of Dremora. Churls are obsequious to superiors, but ferociously cruel to humans and other Daedra. Next in rank are the caitiffs, creatures of uncalculating zeal, energy without discrimination. Caitiffs are used in irregulars in the faction wars. Caitiffs are used as irregulars in the faction wars of the Daedra, as berserkers and shock troops, undisciplined and unreliable, but eager and willing. The highest of the regular rank and file of Dremor troops are the Kinvals, warrior knights who have distinguished themselves in battle and shown the deliberate steadiness of potential war leaders. Above the rank-and-file warriors of the Churl, Caitiff, and Kinval castes are the officer castes. The Kinreeve is a class sheriff or clan officer. A Kinreeve is a clan sheriff or clan officer. Kinreeves are typically associated either with a clan fighting unit or an administrative office in the order of battle. The Kin Marcher is the lord and high officer of a Daedric citadel, or outpost, or gate. A Kin Marcher's command is usually associated both with a unit and with a fief, a location or territory for which they are responsible. Above the Kin Marcher is the Maricanaz, or Grand Duke. As Marcanaz is a Lord of Lords and member of the Markin, Mehrunes Dagon's Council of Lords. The highest rank of Dremora is the Valkinaz, or Prince. This warrior duke is a member of the Valkin, Mehrunes Dagon's personal guard. The Valkinaz are rarely encountered in Tamriel. Normally they remain by Mehrunes Dagon's side, or serve as commanders of operations of particular importance or interest to Dagon.
Watch it. Gotta be better than that. You could craft something nice with that.
You can't be too careful when you're picking your enemies.
Laria's orders. Maldred, you made the wise choice when you decided to join our efforts. I've begun the process of transforming the people of Moira's Hope into blood fiends under our control. Your task is simple. Make sure this process runs its course, and that there are no survivors. Anyone not converted should be fed to the blood fiends or otherwise dispatched without pause or mercy. When the process is complete, gather the blood fiends and await further orders. Lady Laria Montclair. She's just charming. Constable Maldred's journal. I don't remember how long I believed in the principles of to serve and protect. Recent events have opened my eyes and changed so many things, however. I have a new cause to champion, new allies to support. If I regret one thing in all this, it's that I will now be forced to oppose my dear friend, Adusadaro. We've known each other for so very long. I find it almost impossible to imagine that she will now oppose me. I have a vague hope of introducing her to the beautiful Laria, converting her to our ways of thinking, but I fear that my efforts will fail. She has well and truly fallen under Verandis' spell, and I don't believe that anything I say will change that. I hear that, in the end, the proud and powerful Adusadaro must die. Should I record the events that led to my epiphany? No, time is short. and I have too much to do right now. Later, surely, there will be time enough to fill the pages with the wisdom I have acquired. Suffice it to say that Lariah is not a monster. I'm quite fascinated by the woman and eagerly want to spend more time in her enchanting company. For now, let's just write that her words and deeds moved me, that her vision has become my vision, that her goals have become my goals. And it all starts here, in the quiet hamlet of Moira's Hope. Townsfolk are either well on their way to becoming blood fiends loyal to our cause, or they're dead and dying. Soon we can spread the gift of Lariah's blessing to all of Rivenspire, and then the chaos will be glorious. This is bad. Alright, I'm gonna try to see if I can get a random encounter over this way, and then we will address Moira's lack of hope. You guys are gross. You guys are nasty. Oh, up here. I can. I can steal from this guy.
Good to get stocked up.
Greetings, Walker. Rabamak has many spotless goods. You will come and look, yes?
Hand over your gold or I'll beat you with your own tail.
Mother always said this one was a kitten-headed fool. Here, take everything. Just let this one go.
Okay. Now, to actually help people, rather than steal from them.
You stomp around like a... Get down, you fool! Do you want the blood fiends to see us? Now hush! Hush! Adusa needs her ears right now. No, wait. Strike that. Let's talk. You can help, Adusa, yes?
What kind of help are you asking for?
What kind of help? The helpful kind, of course. I meant to arrive before evil invaded this hamlet, find Constable Maldred, and provide what help I could. But this one was detained, and the constable is nowhere to be seen. Moira's hope is lost.
So what do you want me to do?
Patience. Adusa will explain. The survivors, they are our priority. We move together to... No, too obvious. We move separately, draw less attention that way. Adusa noticed a few survivors headed toward the large barn in the distance. Meet me there.
Alright, I'll meet you at the barn.
You go first, then Adusa shall sneak off. Less chance of both of us getting captured by these cursed creatures that way.
Can I ask you a few questions before we head into Moira's Hope?
If you must, but hurry, please. Survivors have a terrible habit of becoming dead when they are left unattended.
What is this place?
Not is, was. This was the peaceful hamlet of Moira's Hope. Now it is a disaster area.
What's going on here?
Must Adusa explain everything? Look around. The people of Moira's Hope were either turned into blood fiends or turned into food for blood fiends. Now, as to the who and the why of this horror, Adusa cannot say.
Who are you exactly?
Someone who wishes she had arrived in time to divert this tragedy. But if wishes were fishes, Adusa would be a very happy cat. This one is here to help. Now please, the survivors need us.
You guys are gross. You. Stop being gross. Cut it out. Not okay.
With this sword! I mean it!
Calm down, Shaveskin. Your courage is commendable, but highly misplaced. We are here to help.
And how am I supposed to trust you?
This one could have overpowered you at any time. Now stand down, or Adusa will stick that sword where the bright moons never shine.
What? How dare you? Oh, very well. I'll just go and sit down or something.
Mortals, show a little concern, and this is the thanks you get. And where is the constable? Why isn't he here? But that is a mystery for another time. The survivors are our priority. Still, these vampires, they are most unusual.
What do you mean unusual?
Such precision, such coordination. Rarely have I seen vampires behave like an army instead of raiders. This wasn't an incursion. It was an occupation. We must work quickly. It won't take long for the enemy to discover our presence.
So what's the plan?
You stay here and guard these townsfolk. I'll go search for more survivors. No. Reverse that. Better for you to search and Adusa to stay here. Watch for signs of the constable. I will try to learn more about our enemy while you are gone.
Tell me more about the constable.
You ask many questions, like a young one who has eaten too much moon sugar. Constable Maldred is a friend, a trusted contact. We have worked together in the past. And speaking of work, don't you have some survivors to save?
That man, he called you a vampire.
That is what I am, yes? Surely you have learned by now that not every vampire is a monster. Adusa hopes that this doesn't make you uncomfortable. We still have survivors that need our assistance.
I think we met Adusa when we first saw the feeding. She was the one that was told to moderate the appetites of the other vampire.
I know how to deal with your kind. Come any closer and this goes straight into your heart.
Easy now. I'm here to rescue you.
I'm perfectly safe right where I am. Thank you very much. I've got a sharp blade and plenty of food. I'm downright cozy. But those bloodsuckers turn the townsfolk into their feral pets. Absolutely depressing. Divines take them all.
You'll be safer in the barn with the other survivors.
There are other survivors? Why didn't you say so? I'll follow you, but we need to be very careful. These creatures aren't like any vampires I ever read or heard stories about. They're like a Divine's damned army. I'll let you handle this one.
You asked for it.
We showed them.
Useful. Hold on to that.
Come on, let's have at it. I'd rather die fighting than get turned into one of your pitiful creatures.
I'm not one of them. I'm here to rescue you.
Well, that's a relief. I thought for sure you were going to kill me. I just wish you had gotten here in time to save my father.
What happened to your father?
They called her Larea. She demanded that we line up to receive her blessing. That's what she called it, her blessing. My father was one of the first to step forward and tell her what to do with her blessing. She ripped out his throat.
I'm sorry for your loss, but we need to get you to safety.
Of course. You're right. I know you're right. Lead the way.
I'll let you handle this one. I'll take the next. We showed them!
You gonna share? Just kidding, I wouldn't either.
Torn and bitten flesh of this recently murdered victim displays remarkably little blood for such a violent death.
I'll let you handle this one. I'll take the next. We showed them!
Divine, save me! Please, I'll join your army. Really, I will. Just don't kill me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you're not one of them, are you? Thank the Divines. They just marched into town like they owned the place. That cold, horrible woman. She whispered something to the soldier, and people began to change.
Change? In what way?
The woman made a strange gesture, and townsfolk began turning into blood fiends. Then she just walked away and let her companions... They were so fast, so strong. They started tearing people apart. Anyone who didn't change was attacked.
Come on, we need to find any other survivors and get to the barn.
Other survivors? I didn't dare hope. All right, lead the way.
I'll let you handle this one. I'll take the... We showed them!
Better overstocked than under.
I'll let you handle this one. I'll take the next. We showed them!
Vampire or blood fiend, you will fall to Adusa's terribly swift blades. Oh, it's just you. Never mind then. While you were gone, we had a few visitors. Nothing Adusa couldn't handle, of course, but we shouldn't linger in this place much longer.
I found as many survivors as I could.
Yes, Adusa noticed. Fewer than I hoped, but more than I expected. Meanwhile, this one learned that the vampires left a commander here. He's up in the house, atop the hill. Moira's hope can never recover while he controls the town.
Vampire commander?
Militant vampires require structure. Why is that so surprising? But we have more pressing matters. I will get the survivors out of town. You must deal with the vampire commander. Meet us on the road when the deed is done.
Been on the lookout for that.
By the look on your face, Adusa assumes you were successful? The vampire commander is dead, yes?
I killed the vampire commander. His name was Maldred.
Maldred? That's the name of the... No. That unclawed traitor! Adusa only wishes she had been the one to end him. You did well, Five Claw. Adusa will see that these people reach a safe haven. Then I have business of my own to attend to. There is something sinister going on in Rivenspire, Five Claw. Keep your wits about you and stay fragrant. What you saw here is only the beginning.
Where will you take the survivors?
Adusa will take the survivors to Hoarfrost Downs. They should be safe enough there. Pardon, but this one is still coming to grips with how fast the Blood Fiends were created, and with the Constable's betrayal.
What about the Blood Fiends?
Typically, a vampire degenerates over time, eventually withering into a mindless blood fiend. The process we observed in Moira's Hope was quite the opposite. The blood curse appeared to change its victims into blood fiends almost immediately.
I'm sorry the constable betrayed the town.
Yes. Word of what happened here must be carried to my master, Count Verandis. There is much work to be done, and very little time if Larea has truly ventured this far south.
Okay. I'm gonna head up the road to see if I can catch this encounter. Don't see anything here, but there is a treasure chest.
Their loss,
Okay.
our gain.
There's a stone over here.
Building up a stash. Good thinking.
There we are. The Atronach. Alright. We'll overlook the town here. We'll go help them next time we're in the region. I think... Yeah, this is the place where we're recruiting. So we'll continue with that next time. We've recruited a few people, and we'll recruit the next one. And
I
we'll...
heard the battle in the Fevered Muse was touch and go. I'm glad you won the day.
Go up to our only pretty spot. The Way Shrine. The wonderful Way Shrine. Oh, look at the blood moon. Oh no, that's lights. That's a storm over... Let's see, I am here looking this way, so it's here-ish. Alright. Stay safe. Happy mayhem. Thank you for joining me.